My name is Frederique Meyer. As Chris said, I am the e-commerce marketing manager at Johnny Was Clothing. And my goal for this session today is just to kind of walk you through our journey from a very basic, simple batch and blast approach to email to layering in some more nuanced things like segmentation and triggered emails to really drive revenue and improve the overall conversion rate and lifetime conversion of our email marketing program. So a little bit of context, so you have a little bit of background on our business. We're a luxury bohemian women's clothing and accessories brand, so a lot of embroidered tops and flowy tunics and price point of about like $250 to $300 for a shirt and maybe $400 to $500 for a dress. So definitely like upper middle market price point. We've been around since the late 80s, so we've been around for a while, but a little bit under the radar in terms of our brand. You can find us in about 5,000 specialty stores and boutiques nationwide, so the wholesale business is the majority of our business, but it's very much boutique and specialty stores. We didn't start our own retail stores until 2010. Today we have 14, and we're expanding that presence pretty aggressively into Florida, Hawaii. Right now we're in California, Nevada, or not Nevada actually, Arizona, Georgia, Texas. So kind of that southwestern United States. And then we started JohnnyWas.com in 2012. And then I came on in 2013. And we've enjoyed a lot of revenue growth and a lot of exciting growth online, but the team is still very small. It's just me. In terms of the marketing, so as small as you can get. But luckily, with Bronto and Magento, it makes it easy for me to kind of just try things, figure things out on my own. I don't have any developers internally. I don't have even an IT person. So being able to really try my hand at these more like nuanced, advanced email marketing techniques has been really great. So where were we when I got to Johnny Was? It was an interesting time because everyone was very excited about email marketing, which is great. But I guess for a company that had been around for so long in the wholesale space and then in the brick and mortar space where things move like very slowly, to be able to do something as simple as just send out an email blast and then wake up to like $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 in revenue in GA is like amazing, right? So everyone was super stoked on email. This little Dr. Seuss machine here kind of is a visual metaphor for how we were thinking about it. It's like throw more email addresses in there, push that button, send the email, money's coming out, everyone's happy, but like what's really happening in there, we don't really know, we don't really care as long as more money is coming out, we're fine. So the focus was mostly on list growth and sending more emails. But as we all know, that's not really sustainable. Like you're going to hit a plateau at some point where you're sending 7 marketing messages a week, but is the content really there to support that? Not really. Every message is bringing in less revenue. People are calling my customer service girls and chewing them out for sending way too much email. I mean, our customer base definitely skews older, so these people were like way turned off by this. So every time I approached the conversation though of, okay, let's dial back on this, that was like an absolute no-go with our upper management. These emails were like a drug that they had gotten addicted to, they did not want to go to rehab for, and they were like, anytime I was like, okay, we need to dial back on this, no, that conversation wasn't happening. So I figured, okay, we're still going to send 7 marketing messages a week. It's inevitable. So let's approach this from a different angle. So that's when we started with some segmentation of that master list and to ensure that, okay, maybe we're sending 7 emails a week still, but at least we're not sending them to every single person on the list all the time. So at that time, we were already offering kind of that last-ditch effort at unsubscribe to say, oh, don't unsubscribe, just if you want only sale information or only new arrivals information, like join these lists. So those people were already on their kind of self-segmented lists. What I did then with the rest of the the database was segment based on their engagement after 90 days on the list. So the way that I chose to set that up was just have you open an email from us within the past 60 days. So at the time, I'm like, that's a really low bar, right? I mean, hopefully at least you've opened one email. Even if you're not that into our emails, you've opened one in the past 60 days. Well, that was not so. Pretty rude awakening there. About a third of our list actually turned out to be unengaged by those standards. So kind of a bitter pill to swallow, but at the same time, it was kind of a reality check of, okay, this whole time it's been great to be able to report back to my superiors like, the list grew this much this month, yay. But if those people aren't even opening the emails, then who cares, you know? So we're just starting to look at things in a kind of a different way, and this is where our first automated workflow came out of, and that was the re-engagement workflow. So that's when we started layering in some triggered campaigns to really drive more revenue like in a smarter way than just these batch and blast messages that clearly weren't working for a lot of the people. So specifically on the re-engagement, so this is, you'll see a screenshot of the segment builder in Bronto. Super easy to use and just kind of play around with and build out different segments, but that's the one for the unengaged people. And then the workflow is pretty simple. It's just somebody lands on that list or that segment, and then they get the email, the re-engagement email, and then we see if they open that within 10 days, they go on to like this re-engaged segment, and if they don't, they're on the unengaged segment. And that determines their future cadence for marketing messages. So like the re-engaged people are getting maybe 1 to 2 emails from us a week, depending on what we have going on. The unengaged people are not really hearing from us via email. They're maybe getting some Facebook ads from us. They're maybe hearing from us like on Black Friday or Mother's Day or something like that, but we're kind of leaving them alone when it comes to marketing messages at least. So taking a look more specifically at the email and the creative, the goal again is to re-engage inactive subscribers. And what I'm looking at is the open on the individual's level, because that's going to determine what list they end up on. The open rate, which I'm expecting overall to be low. And then the click rate, specifically per content block, because I'm kind of letting that inform future iterations of the message. So it's more of like a long form creative, recycling some of the same content that was successful in our marketing messages because these people didn't see it, so we can reuse it. And just kind of keeping up to date with maybe seasonal things, like this one was particularly successful. It had our Velvet, a link to our Velvet boutique. So we only get Velvets really in the winter. They always do really well for us. But somebody who signed up in the summertime and then became inactive might not even know that we offer that. So making sure to highlight things like that. And then social links, of course, if people don't want to necessarily buy right now, maybe they want to engage in a different way if they just like the brand, but the price point's too high or what have you. So linking to that as well. And then in the gray are just some things that I'm toying with adding in the future or working on adding now. We just sent out our first direct mail catalog. It hit homes on Friday, so it's very new for us, but I want to offer, these people that are not engaging with our email, maybe signing up for the direct mail catalog is more their speed. So offer them that. Also new store openings, we have a lot coming up. Maybe people like to try on the clothes and touch and feel them. So letting them know that that might be a possibility soon in their area. And then, of course, an incentive. We just integrated with Bronto's coupon manager, so that's going to allow us to generate a unique coupon code for this incentive. Because we were definitely worried that if we just did a static code, it would kind of like get out there on the web. So working on implementing that now. Share some results with you. This is kind of an average of the different iterations of the message that we've done, but we tend to see about 5% open rate, so that's 5% of the people that I'm considering re-engaged. click rate of about 32, conversion rate of below 1, but considering I'm not really expecting these people to convert, that's pretty good. Wanted to highlight one particular content section that was really successful. We started offering double XL, which we have plus sizes, but that's like a whole different pattern grade, so it's more expensive to create plus size patterns. So our offering is really small in the plus sizes. So when we added the double XL, that allowed for like way more selection for that size of customer. So wanted to highlight that within this email, and it really converted well, and it brought people back shopping with us habitually, which was great. Okay, so at that point, I was loving the triggered emails and thinking, okay, what's the most commonly sent out triggered email, the most high volume triggered email that you're sending? And it's definitely not like the sexiest email on earth, but it's the transactional emails. So that's your order confirmation, your shipping confirmation. They're going to be sent out, hopefully, the most commonly if you're getting orders. And it's going to be sent out anyway, so you might as well kind of maximize that real estate. So I contracted with Bronto to design and build out these emails for me since I didn't really have any internal resources to do so. It was really nice to be able to rely on Bronto and have them help me with this. And in the first kind of initial one, we did order and shipping confirmation for registered users and guests, share wish list, and forgot password. So that's a screenshot of one of our order confirmation emails. And in the orange boxes are kind of the CTAs that I added. The top two say shop tops and shop scarves. So tops is our most popular product category. Scarves are a great upsell in the stores. They always, try to upsell with a scarf. So kind of trying to echo that sentiment here. And then at the bottom, we have find your nearest Johnny Was store, discover boutiques, and discover lookbooks. So that's where, those are like the more content-driven areas of the site. So I'm thinking, okay, these people just purchased some clothing, but maybe they want to check out the lookbook and see how we style it. So bringing people back to the site for some interesting content. Okay, so tag those for GA, be able to watch the revenue from that. And it's great to send them out through Bronto because you can kind of monitor the volume and the metrics for all of these emails. Something that I definitely want to do in the future, is, especially with these order and shipping confirmation, is instead of having these like general buttons, actually showcasing best-selling product, or better yet, product recommendations based on either what the person just purchased, similar items or complementary items, or things that they browsed before that they didn't actually purchase, being able to insert those dynamic product recommendations in these emails would be really great. So some results from these transactional emails. I know this is a lot of numbers, but they're really great metrics, so I wanted to share them. Order confirmation, we're seeing open rates of 70%, click rates of 24, conversion rate 3.3, revenue per email sent of $2. Similarly with the shipping confirmation, 45% open rate, click rate of 27%, conversion rate of 2.8%, and then revenue per email of $1.50. So those are metrics that are like on par or better. The open rates are definitely better than our marketing sends. And essentially what's happening is every time an order is placed and these emails are triggered, I'm making $3.50 extra from the emails. So that's really cool. Share wish list is a really interesting one. Really, really high metrics here. Open rate of 70%, click rate of 50%, conversion rate of 13.6, and then a revenue per email sent of $37. So when I see those metrics, obviously I'm thinking, okay, with the holidays coming up this year, like how do we educate people on how to add things to their wish list, where their wish list lives on the site, how to trigger this email to be sent out, like add stuff to your wish list and then send it to your husband, get what you really want for Christmas, that type of thing. Educate people on how to use it and get the volume up on this because it's really profitable. And then forgot password is kind of a weird one because you obviously don't want people to be forgetting their password, and it's usually triggered like during checkout when they realize they forgot their password. So I actually don't want to attribute any revenue to this because it kind of messes up everything in GA, so I actually don't really look at this one, but still interesting to be able to monitor the frequency, particularly on that one. So next up, I took a step back and kind of went to the most foundational, lifecycle marketing type of campaign. I feel like whenever you talk about setting up automated campaigns, this is kind of the first one that people talk about, and it's the Welcome series. So we're powering this through Bronto's pop-up manager and then a workflow, which you see there. It looks complicated, but it's not. It's just, somebody got added to the account, they came in through the pop-up, we're going to send them message 1, wait a little bit, send them message 2. So it's a two-part series in the way that we have it set up right now. And the goal here is really to engage and convert new subscribers, but more so than engage, I would say like educate new subscribers. There's a lot of things about our brand that make us really unique, we've struggled to communicate online, quite frankly. Like all of our embroideries are hand designed by our designers. All of our prints are bought by us from the artist, so it's not like we're going out to the fashion district and finding like a roll of fabric with prints on it. We're actually like purchasing the artwork and it's exclusive to us. Nobody else can ever use it. So those are things that are cool and interesting and play into why the price point is kind of higher. So, we want to educate our customers about that, but there's no place on the site really where that information lives. So I found a really good home for it in the Welcome series. So I don't know if you guys can read that, but I just highlighted one of those kind of educational content sections. It just says our embroidery designs cull global inspiration and are designed in our LA studios, shop embroidered tops. So just a little tidbit, and it's definitely helped, I think, with kind of educating customers about what makes our brand special. So what I'm looking at with these emails is just your basic open rate, click rate, again, per content block, because I'm using that to inform the next iteration, conversion rate, and then lifetime engagement of people that are receiving these emails. And again, this is Bronto's pop-up manager and then a workflow, but people that are signing up on the footer form and through different landing pages and everything are also getting this message or these messages. So it's a two-part series, the first one being more about the brand and our 6 lines that we have, under our Johnny Was umbrella and all that, directing them back to the site. The second one's more about social, connecting on social. And I refresh this usually bi-monthly, just swapping out, new imagery or testing some new content. So in the gray, again, at the bottom are some things that I'm thinking of adding or working on adding. Segmenting what content is in these emails based on the person's sign-up route or their purchase history. So what I mean by that is if somebody's signing up during the checkout process, they probably don't need this welcome series. We could probably do something more of a post-purchase type of series that would be better suited to them versus somebody who's never purchased from us before. Send them one that has an incentive, send them more brand educational type of content versus somebody who's already purchased from us but wasn't on the email list before. I think there's a lot of opportunity in kind of like slicing and dicing those segments. Another idea is putting users on a list based on their engagement with the content in the Welcome series. So we do have the 6 different brands. If we're seeing that they all have different aesthetics. So if we're seeing that somebody's very clearly engaging with one brand over all the others, why not take that information and then subsequently use it to inform what marketing messages we're sending them in the future that are more relevant to them. And then again, incorporating that dynamic coupon code from Coupon Manager for a percentage off first purchase. That's something that we'll be launching very soon. Okay, so some results from this particular welcome series. We're seeing open rates across the 2 of about 70%, click rates of about 32%, and then the second one isn't really converting or conversion focused, so for the first one, we're seeing conversion rates of 2.3% and then revenue per email of about $1.20. So pretty good. Okay, and then the next one I want to touch on is my absolute favorite one because it's like the golden money-making child of the triggered programs, abandoned cart. And we're triggering this from using the Bronto Magento extension. It's a cart reminder email, pretty easy to set up. Right now we're just doing this single email. You'll see the creative right there. It shows the items. It shows some information, the name, price, SKU, and some customer service type of like language and contact information, and then the CTAs just go right back to the cart. So it's pretty straightforward. I think it's triggered 45 minutes after the cart's abandoned, but it's performed like amazingly well for us, and it was proof of concept for us to invest in Bronto's cart recovery app, which we're again working on implementing right now. That's going to allow us a little bit more freedom in building out multi-part series easier and doing a little bit more testing around like timing or content, subject lines, all that good stuff, and really optimizing this email. But even so, it's done really well, 56% open rate, click rate of about 40%, conversion rate of 18.2%, and then revenue per email of almost $16. So every time somebody abandons their cart on my website, I make $16, which is amazing. So where are we now? I was trying to think of like a good visual representation. It's not as good as the Dr. Seuss machine, but this little carnival game where every subscriber is a moving target, you know, and there's different times that you could communicate with them optimally, layering in the segmentation and these triggered campaigns is just bringing us incrementally steps closer to that holy grail of like the one-to-one communication with our customers. And it's all kind of been set up just by one person. So nothing too fancy happening in the background. So what's next? I think there's definitely a lot more opportunity within the segmentation aspect of it. As far as our marketing messages go, the segmentation hasn't really evolved past what I set up initially. So I think even within engagement, there's definitely more buckets of engagement that could inform the cadence. And then when it comes to the actual content of the emails, incorporating people's interests, their browsing behavior, their purchase history to inform the content that they're actually getting in those daily marketing sends is something that I'm working on. Responsive templates, that's like one of those things I probably should have just done from the get-go, but now being able to go back and make all of those triggered emails responsive will just kind of bump up the conversion rates, hopefully, for all of those. Post-purchase is a big area that I'm excited about. We don't have reviews on the site right now, but we're working on implementing that, so that's going to be a great touch point. And then how-tos, like just content-based post-purchase stuff. So we have this whole line of signature silk scarves. They're these big square scarves. And a couple years ago, we invested all this time and effort and money into making this printed, it's like a big printed booklet, beautiful, color printed, shows you 30 ways how to tie your scarf, shows every scarf we've ever made. Like, it's gorgeous, and people love it, and we put it in the orders. But wouldn't all that time and money be better spent on creating an email that repurposes some of that content, or maybe even like an email drip if people are into that, that shows, you know, a couple ways to tie the scarf, how to take care of the scarf, the best-selling scarves of the moment, send that as a post-purchase and get people actually back to the site rather than have this printed booklet in their house. I think so. Another one is dynamic product recommendations. I think I've mentioned it a couple times at different points, but being able to leverage like customers' actual interests and purchase history to show products that are more relevant to them. You know, even within all the marketing messages, we usually have like a product grid at the bottom that's very carefully curated by our art director, and it's like looks so beautiful, but it might not really be relevant to the person looking at it. So testing into that. And then search and or browse abandonment. So Obviously, abandoned cart has been so successful for us. Why not take one step back and look at either people that are searching but not converting, or browsing and spending a lot of time with products but not converting. Try that out as an email and see if that performs as well as abandoned cart. And I know a lot of these things are things that Chris and the team over at Bronto is working on developing apps for, that are going to make it like super easy for me to actually do it. So I'm excited for more successes together in the future. Thanks.